Good evening and welcome back to Wargaming in a Cave. It's time for the end of March update, well, early April as it were, but it's the Easter weekend, so I thought, well, let's take the opportunity of making a video. As I'm sure most of you out there are making the most of the weekend, doing a bit of wargaming, painting a few figures hopefully in between eating plenty of chocolate. Anyway, enough of eating chocolate, let's move on to wargaming. Hopefully you may have seen or not my Place Noir update following our game in the middle of March. It was a really interesting scenario, highly recommend it. It came from Dave Brown's 100 Days campaign for his GDA rules. It was really finely balanced. The French didn't quite manage to hold on. The Prussians managed to evict them from Place Noir Church at the end of the game. We could have done with, as for most war games, we could have done with a couple of more turns to have resolved it fully, but it was just about a Prussian victory. That's also got me thinking about games as we go forward. We tend to, as a group, use quite a bit of time to set games up. So going forward, we're going to try and do as much of the setting up the evening before or the day before so that we can get more gaming time, because I'm sure, just like most war games groups, you get to the end of the day, you think, oh, a couple more turns and we would definitely have had a result. So that's going to be our new approach going forward. It's not an original thought. I know most war games have suffered from battles against time over the years. So, but I thought I'd just share it. Anyway, so that was our game for March. Our game for April is going to be Mont Saint Jean. Again from Dave Brown's GDA 100 Days campaigns book, so I'm looking forward to that. That will be towards the end of the month, and I'll do a video again. Our Waterloo game, for one reason or another, has been pushed back to later in the year, so the 2-day bonanza will probably take place in September, subject to everybody's holiday commitments. But there'll be more updates on that, and I'm working on the Hougoumont base, so I'll keep you updated about that. So what's on the workbench in April? Well, I am working on the first KGL Hussars, ready for Waterloo. I've got a regiment of pikemen, which are made by Aventine. They're real delight to paint as my Seleucid army takes small steps forwards. And I've got some more German AFVs and armour and infantry to finish off in readiness for Arnhem, which will hopefully be taking place later in the year. And my notes just fell over, which is not very professional. But anyway, there we go. So that's what's on the workbench. I'll show you the units that have been finished, so you can see what I've been up to. The first unit to be finished in March were these Britannia 20mm British paratroopers ready for Arnhem. I just about got enough paratroopers now, I think, to be able to complete the scenario from the Colin Rumford book from the first day of Arnhem, which I think sees the best part of 5 or 6 battalions landed. I'm referring to the old book, the original Rapid Fire, which was really very good. So I have finished these. They'll be put onto the movement trays, and most of the units will then hopefully be finished. I need to have a roll call to make sure I'm organised, but that's 50 odd British paratroopers that were completed in March. With these fine fellows. Now these are Pries. They're my first battalion of Pries metal to be painted. They are painted as the 2nd KGL, ready to defend La Harsante. I really enjoy painting them. The main thing that I noticed about them is I undercoated them with my Brain Matter Beige approach that I've highlighted on a couple of the videos I've done. And it didn't work brilliantly well because, as you'll notice, there's not a lot of white on these uniforms, but there is lots of greens and blacks. So the next battalion that I paint, which will be the 1st KGL, or the next, when I return to painting British Napoleonics, I'm going to undercoat them black. But these fine fellows, very pleased with how they've come out, and they will not be the last battalion of Pries metal that I will be purchasing. Completed in March were some other British Pries. These are plastic though, and they were part of an experiment that I undertook just to see what they were like to paint up and put together. I have to say I've enjoyed painting them. Putting them together is time consuming. and one of the reasons I will be sticking to metal over plastic, because it just eats into my painting time. But I hope you agree that they've come out very nicely. I've again grey matter beige as the undercoat, and then I've used a mixture of war paints and Vagellos and a few foundry paints to get them up to scratch. So they are ready for the tabletop. But these chaps are marching off onto eBay, so they'll be available on there if you want to track them down. And they are the last unit completed for March. And the final part of the update for March is, as we roll into April, is obviously it's Salute fast approaching. That will be next Saturday, the 11th of April, and I've got a ticket. I've not been to Salute for quite some time. In fact, the last time I was there, I was putting a game on, so it'd be nice to be there as a punter and to amble around the trade stands and have a look at everybody else's games. I'm looking forward to meeting Ken Riley, who is Yorkshire Gamer, who will be putting on a game, so I should be stopping by his game and having taking in the vista of his beautifully painted thousands of figures, which I look forward to seeing. If you happen to see me around Salute, say hello. It's really nice to bump into people, and any feedback about the YouTube channel. Speaking of which, I've finally mastered, I think, allowing people to put comments on. As I say, IT is not really my speciality, which is why this is not edited, it's just put together. And hopefully you're finding it quite interesting and useful, inspirational. So that's really it for the end of March, early April. April should see lots of progress with regard to more painted figures, a few more buildings for Arnhem. And by the end of the month, I will recap the progress, and ahead of then, we'll have the video report of the Battle of Mont St. John. Until then, thank you for watching Wargaming in the Cave. See you soon.